The Acolyte is the latest thing to come out of Disney Star Wars and the latest thing to get publicly canceled, which does not happen very often. But Hollywood, the cast, and about the 12 people this show was actually made for can't really seem to grasp that if a show doesn't perform well when it comes to views and monetary value, it's not going to get a second season, especially when they put $180 million into it. Do you really think a show that had $180 million put into it, that got an 18% average audience rating score and some absolutely terrible viewership numbers, do you really think a show that isn't profitable for the business, Disney, is going to get a second season? No, of course it isn't. That's common logic. But a lot of people can't seem to accept that, so we're gonna take a little look at a few of these articles that just can't seem to accept the fact that this was not a worthwhile and profitable investment. Take, for example, this article. The Acolyte's Star Wars reflect on its surprising cancellation. Really not that surprising. Earlier this week, Disney announced Star Wars series The Acolyte won't return for a second season, much to the thunderous applause of the Gamergate-esque fans. Gamergate-esque? What does that even mean? Much to the thunderous applause of the Gamergate-esque fans who see the show's cancellation as Lucasfilm's capitulating their harassment campaign against the lead actor Amandla Stenberg. Ah yes, the harassment campaign, the organized harassment campaign to ruin Amandla Stenberg's career. Of course, no, yeah, that was us. That was definitely us. We definitely weren't the one making a diss track attacking the fan because we simply didn't enjoy the show. No, we would never do such a thing. But newsflash, Amandla Stenberg would, and she did, and it damaged the brand's reputation to absolutely no one's surprise. I don't know what this harassment campaign against Amandla Stenberg means, if it's pointing out her inability to act and having a single facial expression throughout the whole show. If that means pointing out that fact, if that's what this harassment campaign is, that's not a harassment campaign. That is criticizing an actor's ability, which is a very common thing in Hollywood. I don't know if you knew that, but it's a common thing for actors and their media to be criticized because that's how the media works. Manny Jacinto, aka Smilo Ren, shared an image of his character holding hands with Stenfield's Osha on a beach. Aw, how sweet. The one actor who brought a tiny bit of value to the show, aka Thirst Trapping, posted a nice little Instagram post. Aw, how sweet. Everybody can swoon over Manny Jacinto some more. Believe me, we're gonna get back to Manny Jacinto and the thirst trapping surrounding him, especially the audio for the show for I don't know, whoever it is needs that audio.
The red blade still throbbing right in front of his throat.
Believe me, we're gonna get back to that. Now, you see, this comment right here encapsulates my thoughts perfectly. I suppose Disney is doing the right thing by canceling The Acolyte. Was a bit of a surprise by some who actually forget that Disney is in fact a business. That's right. Disney, Hollywood, it's a business, not a platform, it's a business. And the business is entertaining people. And guess what? Newsflash, The Acolyte did not entertain anybody except Leslie Headland. And then we have this one. This is not a surprise. Honestly, the coverage of this show's entirely predictable fall from grace seems to be living on another planet. Ah, yes, fall from grace. That implies it had it in the first place, which it did not. And then there's this comment here. There was a lot of bad in this show. Good start, but at least it tried something a bit new and was aimed at an older audience. An older audience, you say? An older audience. Man, if it's aimed at the older audience, that means that implies that the director, Leslie Headland, thinks that everyone in part of this older audience is totally cool with someone watching all of their friends get murdered and then falling in love with said murderer. Did we forget? Hang on a second. This is just coming into my head now. Did we forget about the part that Smilo Ren literally killed all of Osha's friends and then she fell in love with him? What? No one would just do that. If it was literally any other character, when she had that throbbing lightsaber against his neck, she would have killed him. I would have killed him. You would have killed him. You don't fall in love with someone who murders everyone you've ever known. That does not happen. And then here's another article with a title that I cannot comprehend. The Acolyte's cancellation is a huge mistake for Star Wars. A huge mistake? Ensuring the profitability of my business and making sure the IP I just made something on that got significantly damaged doesn't get damaged further is a big mistake. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a mistake. Yeah, a mistake. 100%. I also just love the wording in some of these articles. For 7 glorious weeks in June and July. Ah, yes, glorious weeks. I was excited about Star Wars again, and it was all thanks to the Acolyte. Oh, how sweet is that? I can imagine you were so disappointed. But on Tuesday, Deadline reported that Lucasfilm would not be renewing the Acolyte for a second season. Would you look at that? You let your lead actress attack the fans with a horrid diss track, and they cancel it after she has done some unrepairable damage to the IP. I wonder why they canceled it. According to the publisher, citing sources with a quote because they think it's all fake news, citing sources, the reasoning was ratings based, with the finale drawing what is believed to be the lowest minutes viewed for a Star Wars finale. So basically what you're saying is no one watched the show, and newsflash, no one did watch it. The cancellation might make sense from a numbers standpoint. That's how business works. But from a storytelling standpoint, the decision does a major disservice to Star Wars going forward. It sends the unfortunate message that any attempts at original storytelling will be sidelined in favor of more self-referential slogs. Do you want an example of an original Star Wars show that did well? Yeah, the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. Sure, they had their own problems, but it felt like Star Wars, and it was original content, and sure, bit of a Luke Skywalker cameo, but it's Star Wars. Luke Skywalker is Star Wars, that is just the truth. Nothing new is allowed, nor is any show given the chance to grow past its first season unless it's an instant smash hit. Funny how that works, where if you actually write a good story with an actual team of competent writers who know what they're doing, aimed at the majority of your fan base, then it's almost like the show will actually get watched and people will actually like it. And then Disney turns a profit, and then they make more of it, and the fans continue to be happy until inevitably it withers out. It's crazy how that works, how success comes from pleasing the audience. It's a bit crazy how that works. I don't really know how it works either. I mean, I think they should put another $200 million into another season of The Acolyte just so about, I don't know, maybe 2% of the entire fan base can watch it, because we all know that when it comes to business, you have to please absolutely everybody. It doesn't matter how much money it costs. You have to please literally everyone, except the people who actually make you money. Obviously, that's just a bit of sarcasm on my part. We all know that good, well-written projects actually are successful. And, they keep pumping out more of them because the audience continues to like it. We all know that's true. The Acolyte gave me hope for the future of Star Wars. Now I'm not so sure. I don't know if you've seen even the, main poster art of the Acolyte, but when I look at that, I don't see hope. I just see depression.
All around me are familiar faces.
The loss of the Acolyte is also a blow to its audience. Ah yes, the 2% of the audience who actually watched it, the very low 2%. Many of whom, like me, saw the series as a way to reconnect with a franchise that had otherwise lost their trust and interest. Lost trust and interest with what? Ahsoka? Were you so bored by a dual female lead show that you lost your trust in Star Wars? I lost my trust in Star Wars at Mandalorian Season 3 and Book of Boba Fett. That's where my trust ended. Where have you been? Whether people were seeing themselves in the Acolyte's diverse cast or rejoicing in Star Wars actually embracing an enemies to lovers romance, yes, I watched this man murder all my friends in front of my eyes in a very brutal and terrible way. Now I'm going to fall in love with him and bang him. It was a joy to watch viewers geek out every week over the show's every twist and turn. Twist and turn being characters suddenly just deciding on a whim, hey, I think I'm gonna change my motivation now. I don't understand what goes through these people's heads. I really don't. It's like, the show was bad. That's it. It was a bad show. And since it was a bad show that didn't make money, it got canceled. It's as simple as that. That is just the entertainment business. That is just how it is. Maybe if you actually took the time and resources and put them to an actual dedicated, competent cast of writers and cast of actors, then maybe it would be successful, then it would make money, and then there'd be more of it. It's crazy how that works. I'm literally going to have an aneurysm. Of course, there is the nasty flip side to that fandom. Bigoted so-called Star Wars fans took every opportunity to attack the series with racist, sexist, and homophobic rhetorics, all because the Acolyte dared to center women and people of color. I don't know if you've noticed Bell and Edwards. But good old Amandla Stenberg here was not attacked by the fans. It was, in fact, the opposite. It was, in fact, good old, I don't know how to do one other facial expression aside from this one, Amandla Stenberg here, who attacked the fans. Little Miss Cry Wolf decided, hey, people aren't liking my show. My show. They're not liking my show, so I'm gonna make a diss track on them. I'm sorry, but the hard, cold truth is that the fans never attacked the Acolyte. They saw exactly what it was, another predictable, just self-insert fan fiction project from Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy working together, and it was just so predictable, and it was terrible writing. It has nothing to do with the diverse cast or anything. The writing was objectively terrible, and the main lead actress conducted herself in an extremely inappropriate way that damaged the brand. It is not that hard to understand. I had a few more articles that I wanted to go over here today, but I think this one, I don't think I can go any further than this. Like, I don't think my brain can handle reading any more of this, but I do have a nice little ending note for all of you. I actually wanted to end this off on a Steam post. Yes, of all places, even on Steam, the Acolyte is still being talked about. I never thought it would make it this far, but hey, if the Acolyte achieved anything, you got people on Steam to talk about it. So, you know, good job. You got people on Steam to talk about your show. Good job. I'm surprised it reached that far. And I wanted to end this on this comment right here. Star Wars can now have not just sex, but gay sex without actually having sex. I don't know, those are just my thoughts. I mean, The Acolyte is just an objectively poorly written show with an objectively poor and negative reception because it wasn't written for the core fandom. Kind of like Ahsoka. Well, you see, even in the case of Ahsoka, people, including myself, I actually had a tiny bit of hope for Ahsoka because Ahsoka's character arc across the entire Clone Wars animated series, she was my favorite character in that whole series. I loved Ahsoka, especially in the finale of the Clone Wars in season 7. I loved Ahsoka. I was actually a little bit optimistic about an Ahsoka show because I really wanted to know what happened to her. Well, we know what happened to her. It happened in Rebels, but that's not important. Unfortunately, Ahsoka wasn't that great. It really wasn't. It was just kind of a whole lot of nothing and, you know, Thrawn being done really dirty. But the Acolyte was just nothing. It was just a whole bunch of nothing. It didn't make sense. The last, what was it, episode 6 with all the thirst trapping with Manny Jacinto, that was literally just, that was just fan fiction. That was just literally just fan fiction. And Reylo, Leslie Headland being a Reylo, is like, hey, I'm gonna do this because I'm a Reylo person and I wanted this to happen between Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, but it didn't happen, so I'm gonna do it with my B-roll versions of I don't know. I'm not surprised it got canceled. It's just not a good show. It wasn't profitable. The audience didn't watch it, and the lead actress damaged the IP and the brand. So no reason to dump another $200 million into this thing. I don't know, but I'd love to hear what all of you think about the Acolyte's cancellation. If you have any thoughts beyond what I've said, or if I've pretty much summed it up, please leave any thoughts you have in the comments. And if you want to have a nice little conversation over in my Discord server, feel free to check that out. But if you did enjoy the video, consider dropping a sub. I'd really appreciate it. We're at at the time of recording, we're at 6.66k subs, which is absolutely fantastic, and I'd love to hit 7k before September 6th, which is my birthday. So it'd be a very nice birthday present if we could hit 7k before we reach my birthday. That'd be very nice. And I got a little treat coming up for all of you on my birthday. It's gonna be a real fun stream. I'm not gonna tell you why, but it's gonna be real fun. And in general, if you just like my style of content and the way I just sort of do whatever I want, talk about whatever I want, play whatever I want, then consider becoming a channel member. You get all sorts of cool rewards like early video access, a badge next to your name, and your name in the end credits of every video, like these beautiful people right here. You support me, you get rewards that make you look cooler, and everyone wins. So consider becoming a channel member. But that is gonna do it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I say this with the heaviest sigh. May the Force be with you.